The agricultural sector was one of the pioneers when it came to producing moving pictures. Films were used for educational purposes, advertising products, and for teaching new techniques. In France, it was primarily the government that funded a rural cinema campaign. In countries like Switzerland, agricultural organizations took the lead. Farm women, for example, used films to represent themselves already in the 1920s. Agricultural films were either feature films or commission films. Commission films were contracted by state departments, agricultural organizations, or scientific institutions. Until the 1960s, the producers of these films were often production companies, which produced feature or cinema films as well.
Focus! Focus! Verschwindibus.
Quite often, commissioned films were shown together with the feature films in cinemas.
No. Verschwindibus.
Because commissioned films were regarded as part of the economic, not the cultural world, they were not judged as culturally valuable enough to be preserved for the future by the existing film archives. But often they have survived in the archives of agricultural organizations. Big changes occurred in the 1960s when the so-called author-director films emerged.
Young
filmmakers now began to look at agriculture, especially the peasantry in remote areas, from new, often ethnographic perspectives. They saw themselves primarily as documentary filmmakers and attempted to show nothing but the reality. A second element was crucial for the development of agricultural films in the 1960s: the rise of television.
Wir sind dieser Not nachgegangen und sind dabei auf allerhand Gründe gestossen.
TV programs now provided a platform for documentary, feature, and commissioned films alike. We conclude: there is no doubt, films are a crucial source for rural historians. In order to assemble information on the production and distribution of these films, archival and research institutions in Europe created the European Rural History Film Association in 2017. The aim of the association is to make these films accessible and provide historians with information necessary to identify and contextualize them. It maintains a database and an online portal. Members of the association are archival and scientific institutions. The database acts as a guide to the films produced since the end of the 19th century. Access to the database can be gained through one of the members. The database provides information on who was producing the films, the content, and how the production of the listed films was financed. It also indicates whether the original film material is still available, where it is kept, and whether the film has been digitized or not. Most of the digitized films are accessible via the online portal. The films in the online portal are grouped by thematic collections and the institutions where the films come from. While the thematic collections illustrate the variety of topics covered in the films, the contributing institutions demonstrate the diversity of institutions in Europe which are engaged in making rural films accessible. One of the contributing institutions is the Center for Agrarian History in Leuven, which is now presenting us their film project.
What images come to mind when you think of rural history? Farmers working on the land with horses and tractors, or a farmer milking his cow in an open meadow? There's a big chance that the mental images you envision go back to the images you have seen before. Moving images play a big role in how we envision and engage with the past. Cinema Rural is a project by the Center for Agrarian History based in Leuven, Belgium, which aims to identify, map and describe historic agricultural images in Belgium. We do so by operating within a broad national network of archives, museums and organizations in the agricultural sector. We started collecting and describing these moving images in October 2018. You can find all these metadata in the database on our website. By using our database, everyone can search for more information on specific films or subjects. If you're lucky, there might even be a digital copy available. All this information is also accessible via the European Rural History Film Association database. Two main collections take up for almost 1,000 of rural films. The former Federal Ministry of Agriculture has a vast archive with 774 films. Most of these films were used to inform and educate farmers on new techniques and modernizations. The Belgian Farmers Association, Boerenbond, also has an archive of 175 films, mostly dealing with social and cultural life related to the organization. Collecting information about these testimonials of our agricultural past on a national scale is only one step. To truly understand the meaning and the potential of these moving images, we have to look at this in an international way. How was knowledge distributed throughout Europe? Which are the differences and resemblances in each country? And what role did these rural films have in shaping and modernizing agriculture after the Second World War? That is why the European Rural History Film Database and its online portal is so important. It is only by creating an even more elaborate dataset on the production of these rural films that we can truly understand this part of rural history. For more information on the project, please visit our website or follow our social media.
We conclude. Films are an important source of the 20th century. But the question remains, are they only a source for historians? Are they not also an appropriate means of communication for historical insights? The European Rural History Film Association will address this question in the future, as well as it is continuing its activities of collecting and presenting historical film material.